Hello everyone and welcome to this evening run through London in the coach. As you can see, we are leaving Victoria Coach Station here. There's two exits out of Victoria Coach Station. If you know, one of them comes out the kind of back corner onto Ebury Street and then around Assembly Place and back onto BPR. This one is the other side, comes out on Elizabeth Street, and then we are going to go up a BPR. But so as you can see, we're following BV69 Carey National Express 450 service. This is another coach from my own company. He was my colleague and we're going to follow him just for a little bit until we get out. But we turn out of the coach station, cross this little pedestrian crossing. So this was a Sunday evening. We departed at 6:30 in the evening. As you can see, it's still relatively busy, even for a Sunday evening. Quite a lot of people about, quite a lot of coaches going at that time. So yeah, kind of interesting. So yeah, Sunday evening. So that means the traffic is less busy than it could be because it's Sunday, obviously. And you'll see there's pits where it would normally be busy, especially at peak times, and not too bad. Guy there just walked straight across, oblivious to the coach. Anyway, so we turn out into Elizabeth Street. There was actually a TfL bus let us out, surprisingly, at that point. And then we go up to the junction here and turn left onto Buckingham Palace Road. It's worth saying at this point that remember that I know this run extremely well. I've done it many times. So I know exactly what lane or lanes that to be in, or what lane or lanes I want to be in or can be in, at every single junction, at every single place. So I'm not having to look at a sat nav or Google Maps or try and work out where I'm going or anything. That of course makes driving in London an awful lot easier when you know exactly where you're going. But so yeah, so just remember that I know exactly where I am at all times in this, and I know exactly where I'm going, so it just makes life easier. Doesn't mean it's not interesting, of course, but I'm just saying that I'm not having to check on maps or anything. So here we go. Silly Merc there tried to sneak up the outside because he was turning right. Lots of things about this bit of London I find interesting, like it's really not designed for coaches. This is quite a tight corner here, as you can see, swing around and not hitting either people or the posts that are there on the outside. But hey, and we can go straight into a bus lane here on BPR, which often saves us a little bit of time in traffic. Sorry for the quick cut there. I had to just stop and restart the camera, which is why that bus in front of us has just changed angle slightly. But here we go again, off up BPR again, Buckingham Palace Road. We're passing Victoria train station on the right here. A spot that indicates right, and knowing I'm immediately going to have to do the same myself because there's something blocking the lane there, because there always is, so I get over early, and lo and behold, their taxi stopped up picking up someone, which is fine. But this is always why it's about keeping an eye on what's going on ahead of you in the road and the traffic, as to clues to how you're going to need to do as well. So we come into the one way here at the top of BPR. This is actually Grosvenor Gardens. And as you can see, my colleague there gives me a silly chance to get up the outside on a perfectly valid manoeuvre to go up the outside, straight ahead arrows there, so I'm gone. I ain't waiting around in London, even on a Sunday evening. So we pass him, and then that just pretty much the last I saw of him. Didn't see him much after that. He never caught me up again. Idiot there in the Merc and the black on the right, trying to cut across as per usual, and we crossed over the junction into Grosvenor Place, up Grosvenor Place, and this is running alongside Hyde Park Green Park, sorry, on the right hand side. Buckingham Palace is sort of directly to the right, but just a bit further over, and of course you can't see because of the wall. But so up Grosvenor Place. Just moving left the lane here as we approach Hyde Park Corner Junction. These two split into three, and it's often easier to hit this middle lane from the left than it is to the right, and I want to be in that middle lane because I know I want to be on the inside as we come round Hyde Park Corner. So this is, if you don't know, famous Hyde Park Corner Junction with the Wellington Arch just on the middle of it. You can't quite see it, it's just out of shot on the right here, but and away we go. There's traffic coming in from the left here, often wants to cut across, and they do just go for it. I thought this black minibus was going to whatever it is, but he didn't too badly. Oh, it's an Anderson Lee's taxi, so not surprised. So that was why I was in that lane there, so we could, as we come round here, we can be in the left, because we're going to turn left at this exit and go up Park Lane. This is another tight corner. You can see I deliberately split the lanes here over two, because I know I'm going to need the space to swing around. And again, we can hit the bus lane. And there's a bus lane all the way up, pretty much Park Lane, and it's usually quite a good thing to go into, except on this occasion, as you're about to see. So we swing round, and there's a bus at a bus stop, which is fine. They're allowed to do that. This is always one of those ones where do you try and get across and get around, or you just sit in it. Because I was looking in my mirror there, I didn't see that it was indicating right to pull out, so I'd finally got around him just to find out that he had pulled away. And this is what happens. You then pull up in the traffic, and he carries on up the inside. But as you'll see, we're just going to swing it back over into that bus lane and go up the inside, up Park Lane. So Park Lane mostly famous for its car dealership, which are all on the right hand side here. They're on the southbound side of Park Lane. Obviously the absolutely enormous Hyde Park is on our left here that we're going up the side of. They did reinstate the coach parking here, as you can see on the left Park Lane, which is quite useful sometimes. Getting over to the right again to pass the parked buses that are here. And we want to be over to the right a little bit anyway, because that guy wouldn't let me over. I had to kind of sneak over behind him. We want to be over anyway because we're going to sneak up the little bus lane only around Marble Arch. So as I've just said, we're coming up to the famous Marble Arch junction at the top of Park Lane, end of Oxford Street. You can see the actual Marble Arch directly ahead of us there. And it has a little cut through that is apparently technically called Hendon Way. But anyway, it's a little bus only cut through that cuts out the junction, 2 sets of lights, you know, at the end of, I guess, what's a gyratory really more than a roundabout. So you can see we're going to swing right now into the bus cut through. The benefit is primarily is it's got a give way here at the end, which of course means you can sneak out in any gap that you see. You don't have to wait for traffic lights, so it's quite a nice little one, that one. And as you see, we just about sneak out at the end of the light phase of the guys coming down the A5. Cut across over to our lane. We don't want to go quite all the way over. This is our lane because we're heading straight now down into the end of Oxford Street. Christmas deck's up, as you can see already. It's now towards the end of October recording this. Then we do this left into Portman Street. Again, another tight turn. The traffic coming the other way sometimes causes a problem, but bigger problem here, of course, is people just walking straight across the road in front of the traffic. So often I have my hand hovering over my horn here because they don't realise what they're doing. They don't look properly. There was a little bit of a hold up here. You see the traffic light our way's gone red. I'm now in the middle of the junction, don't have a choice, got to go anyway. And then here we had a little hold up. I couldn't see exactly what was, trying to look around the vehicles to see what was going on here, but there was some car or 2 cars possibly stopped just in the road, doors open. Guys were doing something. I really couldn't see what was going on, but we stopped here, fortunately not for very long. I guess this is a good point to say that I'm driving a Mercedes Turismo, slightly old one. What did I have? 71 plate, I think, with the Silverdale livery, triaxle, which of course is still no problem in London, but just the usual Merc Turismo, so lovely vehicles to drive. Obviously this first bit right in the very centre of London is a little bit stop-starty, but as we get rolling it gets a bit better. But so this is a run through North London up towards the M1, and we were eventually going to Nottingham. Right, and we're moving again finally. So we're Portman Street still. And then crossing straight across onto Portman Square. Just carrying on up, we're basically just heading almost directly north at this point. Sneak through the gap there, straight across the junction into Gloucester Place. Now Gloucester Place, there's 2 on the way back into London. There's 2 ways you can do this. There's Gloucester Place and there's Baker Street, and these 2 roads run exactly parallel to each other, from the top to the bottom. Some drivers like one way, some drivers like the other way. I tend to prefer this Gloucester Place way because I found Baker Street's a little bit busy, but if I sometimes have a quick check on Google Maps, see what the traffic looks like and make a call, but Gloucester Place is my usual go-to. So we're going to run all the way up Gloucester Place to the top. This road, during the week at rush hour is pretty much stop-start the entire length in traffic. But of course on the Sunday, as I said, it's much quieter. Here we cross the Marylebone Road. Again, nice and easy straight across. This time, obviously busy. And then fortunately that A1 that we've been following pretty much from the beginning is stopping to pick up some passengers here. So we're going to sneak up the outside and go on. Which means we've actually got a slightly better view of the road now. We're not just seeing the back of the coach the entire way. So yeah, just keeping on going up Gloucester Place. So as I said, Baker Street is to the right of us, running exactly parallel, about where we are now roughly. Directly across on Baker Street is the famous 221B Baker Street, made famous by Sherlock Holmes. Series of books, films, TV, stuff like that. And that's the only benefit to going Baker Street way, of course, is you get to go past the little mini kind of thing that's there for that. But we get to the junction at the top. Baker Street to the right has become Park Road and coming in at this junction, so this is where the two routes would join again, or diverge if you're going the other way. This is Park Road. And to the right of us, behind these houses that you can't see, actually is Regent's Park. So we're sort of going up the side of Regent's Park here as we head on our way out of London. We're still pretty much going north, not quite directly north, but obviously we can't just head compass north out of London, but we're pretty much going north. We've just passed London Central Mosque on the right, which is huge. Can't really see from the outside, but from what I've seen, the driven past, it looks absolutely enormous. and we come up to this junction, this sort of slightly funny junction at the top here, and we're going to go slightly left and slightly right. This is another place where I deliberately split lanes here, especially when I'm first in the queue like I am here. It looks plenty wide enough here, but actually in reality you can't get a coach and a car sensibly past, at the same time around this next little bit of junction you can see just on the right here. So I'll split the lanes and sit right in the middle, quite deliberately. But you still get people who are going to try and chance their way up either side of you, so you do have to keep an eye out. But yeah, that's okay. Straight in front of us here, directly in front of us here, is Lord's Cricket Ground. Again, you can't see much in the dark, and there's not really an awful lot to see over the wall, but that's going past Cricket Lords on the left-hand side. This is Wellington Road, and we're just going to swan up here for a bit. Again, this isn't on the road like Gloucester Place that during the rush hour, during the week, this is pretty much just a queue from bottom to top, and it's just never ending. But again, on a Sunday evening, it's not too bad. And we hit a couple of good lights as well, which helped. Past St John's Wood Station on the right here, and obviously when cricket's on, there's many thousands of people walking down from St John's Wood Station down to Lord's Cricket Ground. So at this point it's become Finchley Road, and Finchley Road's actually quite a long road in terms of name. It goes through a few junctions and you wouldn't necessarily realise, but it is actually technically Finchley Road here. If it matters, again, another little junction where I'll deliberately split the lanes. It's just a little bit too tight to get a coach and a car up here. You can do it, but of course I'm watching out my front mirrors that obviously stick out slightly further left and right than the width of the body of the vehicle are just a bit too close to the traffic lights here. So as I said, I'll split the lanes there just to keep it safe for me and for everyone else around. Of course, like most of London, central London now, it's 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. So this nice sort of wide, longish, straight bit of Finchley Road seems interminable at 20 miles an hour. But I literally put the cruise control onto 20, literally on 20, and just let the vehicle drive myself at 20, because holding yourself at 20 along here is very difficult to do. But yeah, this is us just chugging along at 20 miles an hour up the bus lane here, nice and quiet. Again, a rush hour. During the week, this road can be quite busy. And then we come up to the famous Swiss Cottage junction. If someone's able to tell me in the comments which came first, the junction or the building, I would be interested to hear, because I have no idea whether this is Swiss Cottage named after the building or whether this is a building they put in called Swiss Cottage because the junction was here. And if it is the junction first, how on earth did it get its name? So if someone knows the answer to that, I could have looked it up, of course, but if someone knows, then please let me know. So we have to move right here because there's buses parked in the stop there, but you can just about see the actual Swiss Cottage itself. It's quite a dark little building, but it's just the building you see Odeon on the right. It's the building now that's on the right now. That's the actual Swiss Cottage building itself. And we're going to carry on Finchley Road, which sort of swings off slightly left here. If anyone's into their road numbers, this is the A41. So coming around the corner here, we get to Finchley Road Station itself, and Flixbus and Megabus services stop here on both the way in and the way out. National Express services don't; they use Golders Green instead. That's why I've moved over to the right here already, is because I could see up ahead there was a Flixbus stop to the Finchley Road bus stop. And even though it's 2 lanes, it's not terribly wide for 2 lanes, so I thought just to get out over to the right here and be out of the way, just in case someone snuck up the inside or the Flixbus wanted to get out or something. But I could see it, and you'll see it in a minute. So there's a station. There's the Flix on the left. As I say, I just stayed out. I wasn't a Flix after all that. I thought that was a Flix green line. Probably the green back, and I wasn't really concentrating too much on what he was, but there we go. Anyway, so we're carrying on up Finchley Road. It's always a hard call to know whether to use bus lanes or not. Of course, at the weekends, they're often got people parked and stuff in them, but sometimes you have to just go for it and see. But, we can get ourselves back out over to the right again easy enough and get out of the bus lane if we need to. So yeah, this is still Finchley Road currently. sometimes it is definitely worth using the bus lane. And obviously the bus up ahead I could see was not getting stuck, so a good indicator that the bus lane's a good choice. So we'll use that to sneak up some of this little traffic at the next junction. Notice that the bus is indicating left. It's a decision again, same like we're at the bottom of Park Lane. Do we pull out to overtake, or do we sit behind it? Now I do happen to know here that the bus lane actually ends here anyway, but we're just sneaking up a little bit just to get up a few more cars before we start indicating right to get ourselves over. I mean, you could call this aggressive driving if you liked, you could call it unnecessary, but I always drive actively, and I try and make my driving as smooth as possible with no jerky motion, so the passengers almost never know that we're cutting cross lanes like this in and out of the bus lane, and in my view anything that I can do to make the journey quicker, safely, and without making it bad or hard or anything on the passengers, I'm going to do it. Don't mess around in London, definitely not. So eventually someone let us out and we could get out. But we got caught with the lights here, unfortunately. You know what it's like sat at traffic lights, even as a car or a motorbike driver, rider, anyone on the roads knows that even though traffic lights may be only 30-45 seconds, it feels like forever, especially when you've just missed them. But of course at this point we are only just over half an hour into it's a 2.5 hour run, so no problems with having to sit at a set of lights for a few seconds, is there really? And off we go. So the next junction, all the National Expresses that are going towards Golders Green are going to go straight on and carry on up Finchley Road. We're going to hang a left here, stays as the A41, but actually becomes Hendon Way. So we turn this left. Oh, again, there's 2 lanes going left. I'm deliberately in the right-hand lane because again, it's quite a tight corner here, and I know that I can swing out a little bit more to the right over this junction and just leave that extra space on the inside for the cars to get round as well. So that's why I hang in the right lane there, because I can just swing out that little bit more. And we come down Hendon Way now, and we're going to run down Hendon Way. All the way down towards Brent Cross at the bottom. Again, this is another road where at rush hour during the week it can be quite busy, not necessarily traffic the entire length, but definitely stop start a lot down here during the week. But again, obviously Sunday evening is relatively quiet, which makes our life so much easier. I said right back at the beginning of the video that I knew exactly where we were going and all the lanes to be in. It is true, but at this point it's been probably 9 months or maybe a year or even more since I've actually done this run. but when I was doing it very, very regularly for a period of time. And of course you just learn all this stuff when you do it very regularly, and you really never forget it again, to be fair. Odd little bits change, of course, but generally it stays exactly the same. Not sure I'd like to live in these houses here on Hendon Way. You see, it's a 3-lane dual carriageway, effectively 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, with the houses with obviously fronts and pavement and stuff, but not entirely sure I'd want to live in these houses. And when you get used to traffic noise, of course, if you live on a busy road, but nonetheless, not an amazingly place to live, but I guess some people like it. At this point, obviously we've got a London bus in front of us, and I know that the bus stops here on Hendon Way, whilst they do have lay-bys, are not really big enough, and the bus doesn't quite fit in the lay-by and get off the road completely. So at this point I'm definitely keeping an eye on what's going on in the lane to the right, because as you can see the bus is going to pull in. We've kept an eye. In fact, he turned left there. We've kept an eye on the space. We knew we could get out and get around him without causing any problem or trouble. So that's another reason for always keeping an eye on what's going on around you in terms of traffic, especially when you're around buses. The road is a little bit bumpy here, actually, as you can see by the focus kind of going in and out on the camera there. Sorry for that, it's just the road's a little bit bumpy along here. But we're coming down to the famous Brent Cross junction with the Brent Cross shopping centre on the other corner, and the Brent Cross flyover goes over the top, but we're not going up there. The A41 that we're on carries on up there. At this junction we're going to just slip off down, and we're going to join the famous A406 North Circular for the almighty length of just one short junction. So this is a place where I might split the lanes, even though you just saw on the right hand lane there the arrow was straight on. Cars have a terrible habit of coming up the outside and cutting left. So if it's busy, I will split the lanes there as well and stop people doing that, because it is a bit dangerous, and of course they're not supposed to, but this is London. So you have to look out for other people's idiocy. Anyway, we slip down onto the A406, stay left because we're going straight off again. At again the well-known Staples Corner roundabout, where the M1 slips off, and there's now only one more set of traffic lights between us and our run up north on the M1. It's almost impossible to time these lights because they're not on a timing phase as such. You just have to kind of do your best. So you can see that as we come down, I spot the lights are red. And I start slowing down a little bit early just to hope we can keep rolling and not have to stop, because it's an uphill run after this, and obviously the coach is a little bit slow on an uphill pull away. So you can see I'm slowing down, hopefully hoping the lights are going to turn green. And they do, lights turn green, great, go! Then the flipping idiot in front of me doesn't go anywhere. Flash him and he finally moves. Typical, you've timed it perfectly, and then an idiot stuffs you up. But anyway, we now swing around to the right up onto the M1, where the video will come to an end. So hope you guys found that interesting. Yep, here we go. We'll just speed up to full speed and off we go up the M1. Right, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps obviously with just the videos and getting stuff out there. Please drop a comment below. Tell me what you thought of the run. Tell me what you thought of some of the traffic or the roads or in the driving. But that's it for now in this video. This is going to come to an end shortly, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.